Hello and welcome back to the Only One Formula YouTube channel. Today we are discussing the Chinese Grand Prix, and to get straight into it, Max Verstappen once again in an absolute league of his own. Sprint qualifying, he didn't have a great result, but fourth by Max's standard is not a great result, so a bit of a shocker, but in changing conditions we have to let him off. But pulls through, takes the victory in the sprint race, takes pole for the Grand Prix, and then finishes off with an absolutely dominant performance. Even with the safety car and a few issues here and there, Max he's not in Formula One. He's one step ahead of everyone. I think after 2 or 3 laps, he was 4 or 5 seconds clear. So there's no arguing with Max Verstappen at the moment. Nobody can even get close. They were commenting on how Norris has kept the Red Bull honest. Well, he hasn't really. He's had a good performance, but without the safety cars and things like that, he's nowhere near Max. I think even without safety cars, he's probably nowhere near Perez today. I think Perez was just unlucky in the scenarios. But yeah, Max Verstappen, clean sweep. I mean, fantastic performance by Lando. He showed how good he is. Picks up a really strong second place podium. And I know Oscar Piastri picked up a bit of damage, but it really shows Lando has a greater car understanding with the race pace that he can produce and the results that he can produce. Piastri had an okay day, picked up some points, but just not where that car really should be. He probably should be scoring better than that. Perez, yep, 3rd place. Another, as good as he could have done today. I think he went too early on the attack of Norris and he killed through his tyres. When he came out of the pits, he was 5.5 behind Norris, and he did bring the gap down. He just ate into his tyres too early, and yeah, he just couldn't do any better than 3rd. But still, double podium for Red Bull, 15 years since their first win, picking up their 100th pole, for example, and yeah, sealing off 15 years of Formula One with another win. Yeah. So Ferrari today had an up and down day. I think they tripped over each other at the start, and I think they made the one stops work, but they just didn't have huge amount of pace. It almost seemed a bit of a struggle for them today, to get what they did, and yeah, not much way of a startling performance from Ferrari. So they always come on the radio and give us plan D or plan E. For me, that's just too much confusion for the driver. I know they've got these plans pre-organized and their debriefs and stuff, but keep it simple for the driver. Just, can we extend the stint? How many do you want to do? Plan A plus 1 is plan A plus 5. The driver knows what he's doing then, and it would just make it less difficult for the driver who's already got hundreds of things to do while they're racing in these situations. I think Aston Martin, again, Alonso had a good starting position, and I think throwing on the red marked super soft, the red marked soft tyres was the wrong decision. Maybe a double stint on mediums would have been the way to go for Aston, but I think they having to do that extra stop at the end, it made it entertaining for us to watch. Seeing Alonso do some overtakes and stuff, it was good, but it did kind of put them out of position of where they should have been and how successful they should have been today. And Lance, and I don't want to bash on Lance again, but we're only 5 races into the season, and it's clear as day that Lance is going to cost Aston Martin yet again. So Mercedes are now 12 points clear of Aston, but they absolutely shouldn't be. Aston should be ahead of them in the Constructors' Championship, and evidently it is Lance Stroll that is letting them down. The restart, and he runs up the back of Daniel Ricciardo. What are you doing? There's nothing to gain there. There's no... You're not going to win the race by doing that. So what are you doing? I think it makes Daniel Ricciardo have a bad day as well, which Daniel Ricciardo can't afford many more of those. But yeah, Lance Stroll is the ultimate problem for Aston Martin, and I get it that it's his dad that owns the team, and how you ever going to deal with that scenario. But Lance, in my opinion, he has to go. He's just going to cause Aston Martin headache after headache. Fifth in the Constructors' Championship, and they should be a fourth, potentially chasing down McLaren, but they're just not going to be there with Lance. So, sorry, Lance, you have got to go. As far as so that's the top 5 teams. As far as the bottom 5 teams, if you like, VCARB, shocking day today, an absolute terrible day today. 2 DNFs. Daniel Ricciardo, again, not his fault, but it just doesn't look good for Daniel Ricciardo. Liam Lawson, the cameras are now starting to show Liam Lawson more often than not, especially when there's an issue at RB. So Daniel Ricciardo massively under pressure. Let's see what happens in Miami, or if anything changes between now and Miami. But he needs a good result to keep that seat, or he's going to be at the sidelines again. Haas. Now, Haas is my favourite team, I think, from the bottom 5. And Haas is in a horrible situation, I believe, that Nico Hülkenberg, he is opportunistic, and he is picking up the odd point and the odd 2 points here and there when the opportunity arises. And because of that, he's got Haas into 7th in the championship. Kevin Magnussen hasn't got a point yet. And that's millions. That's millions and millions of pounds to Haas. So he is keeping that team going at the moment. And K-Mag, when I watched a Formula One race, I see K-Mag and he's in either his defence or in his attack. And I'm just waiting. I am just waiting for the accident to take place. It's almost a guarantee that when it's going on, something is going to go wrong. He's very, very aggressive. Now I understand that he's a racing driver and he'll go for a gap if there is a gap. But when you are fighting for 14th, 15th, 16th place, there is no need. There is no need to put it all on the line and risk it the way he does. It completely ruined this race today. And K-Mag would not be I think K-Mag on his day, is a quick driver. But the temperament isn't there. He needs to tone it down and be more calm, more consistent, and take the opportunities where he can. So on a day that there's a few DNFs from the top 5, that's your day that you can pick up a 10th or a 9th place and 1 or 2 points, which means the world to Haas in the Constructors' Championship. It means everything to them. It's tens of millions of pounds. But if you were putting it all on the line for 16th place, you are not going to be there to take advantage of these situations. So I like K-Mag, but he needs to calm it down, and he needs to think of the bigger picture rather than that one corner that he's battling through at the time. But the other side of the Haas garage, Hülkenberg, I can't rate Hulk highly enough this year. He's performing fantastically well, and if I'm one of the top 5 teams, for example, Mercedes, Hülkenberg is a strong driver to take. He's consistent and he's quick on his day when he has the results. And Hulk hasn't had a highly decorated Formula One career, so I think if he was given the opportunity to, say, for example, drive in Red Bull alongside Max Verstappen, he's going to take that opportunity and sign a contract that is clearly a number 2 contract, which he could pick up some podiums and even, like Perez, pick up the odd win. And that's going to mean Hulk has probably realised at this point in his career he's not going to win the world title. But if he could pick up some podiums, some race wins, and some success in Formula One, I think Hulk takes it. So Mercedes should be looking at Hulk. Red Bull should be looking at Hulk. And I think even Aston Martin. I think Aston Martin should be looking at Hulk to replace Lance Stroll. I think he's done fantastically well. And he deserves it. Give Hulk a step up in Formula One, and let's see what he can do in a slightly better piece of machinery. Sauber, an unlucky day for Bottas, engine failure, which brought out the first safety car. And yeah, it was nice to see Guan Yu Zhou in front of the home fans, but the car's not really in a strong enough position. Great qualifying, and yeah, top 10 for the sprint. Just missed it out on points, unfortunately. So, but nice to see a Chinese driver in front of the Chinese fans. It gives them something to cheer for. But yeah, not really a fantastic day for them. Williams were non-existent in today's race. There's nothing more you can add for Williams. And as far as Alpine are lost at sea, and they really, really need to sort out as a works team in Formula One. I don't know where. I don't know where they are. They're completely lost, and it's got to change. If it doesn't, will Alpine be there in the next few years? I don't see them throwing money at it to be racing around at the end, at the tail end of the grid. So it needs to be sorted ASAP. But a few highlights from the race. I think Alonso's chasing down, I believe it was Hamilton he was chasing down when he saved at the last turn running into the gravel. What a save that was. That was intense stuff. And even at his age, with his reaction, I think he's 42 years old now at this point, and to have the reaction and the speeds to save that car, that was a massive, massive slide. Yeah, top notch. It was a whoa moment. So, yeah, good on you, Alonso. I think it was great. The Red Bull double stack, I think that was nice. It wasn't a massively under pressure double stack, but it was just done. It was just done sweet, smooth, no worries. It was just in car, next car, great. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. But as far as the racing goes, I am getting tired of the expression during the race of hearing DRS train. I don't know about any other fans, but watching 4 or 5 cars run down the straight with the back 4 or the back 3 cars with DRS in the front car, for example, the Aston Martin's quick in a straight line. So Alonso, for example, Alonso's at the pack of 5 cars, at the front of the pack of 5 cars. He's going to run down the straight. He's going to deploy his battery strategically, and the other 4 cars are going to run DRS, and nothing is going to change. One car has the advantage over the next, and so forth and so on. And the idea of the ground effect cars was to increase the amount of overtakes, increase the chances of following, and increase the excitement within the races. But I think the DRS trains they're tragic nowadays, and it's boring the F1 fans. Well, it's boring me personally, and I hope that the 2026 regulations will assist with that. And I've heard of different things like manual overrides for the power units and stuff, so you can deploy your electrical energy at the right place in the right time, and that will give overspeeds here and there, almost like a DRS effect, but using the power unit side. And yeah, I've heard of Active Aero, but obviously with the regulations not being fixed until June this year, I don't know how true the Active Aero rumours are. So I hope 2026 changes that, because ground effect cars, DRS trains, is pretty boring. So Formula One, as a fan, please sort that out. But yeah, I don't think there's much more to add regarding the Chinese Grand Prix. I like the new sprint format, having 2 sets of qualifying, not letting the sprint race determine the starting grid for the Grand Prix. I think that's the right touch for Formula One, so a step in the right direction for a sprint race. But I think overall, a standard race, no huge exciting moments, no Australia crashes with George Russell on their side, no controversy. So a pretty average weekend all round by Formula One, but nice to be back in China. I think it's been 5 years due to the pandemic and things, so I think nice for Guan Yu Zhou to get a home race and to be back in China. So, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below about the Chinese Grand Prix. And if I've missed anything that or if you disagree with anything, please let me know. And yeah, we can discuss it on the next one. And I'm looking forward to it. And I will see you on the next one.